reside. And I would like you to know that for as long as you are here with me, I am here with you. And in this video tonight, I'll be reading you another chapter from the classic manga of Dororo by Osamu Tezuka. And the chapter tonight is called The Fair Fudo. We can see in this little picture here the end of or maybe the beginning of the last chapter, in which Dororo, our little thief, and Yakimaru, the man whose body was stolen by demons, as they rest next to this wall that was part of a haunted battlefield between opposing sides of the same village. But as you can see, they were able to defeat it and break down the barrier which kept so many families apart. Unfortunately, Dororo witnessed the death of a young friend whom he had just made, and so adds to the many sad moments in his short life. But at least he has his friend, and his friend continues to gain more and more pieces of his body back as they defeat these demons. And I think the most recent reacquisition was either it was his nose, and unfortunately it allowed him to smell how terrible Dororo smells. But before we begin, I encourage you to make yourself as comfortable as you can, and to let the tension in your brow and your jaw and your shoulders slip away, and to encourage the ghost inside you to settle deeply within you. To rest, knowing that it is exactly where it is supposed to be. And here is the fair photo. We see them building a campfire, Dororo carrying a bundle of logs. He says, "Bro, why are you so distant all of a sudden? 1 second your mouth's wide open, and the next second you clam up. You sometimes shut people out." Yakimaru says, "Quiet. What's bugging you? The fox? Oh, I know. Tahumaru, right? Who was that Tahumaru? Shut up. Be quiet. Oh, yes, I think also in the last town, or perhaps it was the one before that, Yakimaru came into contact with the father who sacrificed his body to the demons in exchange for power, and also his younger brother, who was actually raised by his parents, and even his mother as well. was forced to fight his brother. And I don't think his brother made it out of that fight alive. Bro, someone's here. Shoot, they're after us. Yakimaru does not seem to care, but they are now surrounded by a large contingent of samurai warriors. What do you want? He says. Your head. Lord Daigo's orders. I see. My head. Lord Daigo, I believe, is the leader of all of these marauders, who is also Yakimaru's father. Take it if you can, he says, very relaxed, and so they charge at him, blades drawn. But of course, he's able to react and attack them all, defeating them before they're able to do anything. We see their bodies falling all around as the small fire smolders. Dororo is hiding in the reeds and comes out after they've all fallen. Phew. 1, 2, 3. Dororo, I want to part ways with you. What? He is surprised. This is the end for us. You take a hike. Bro. The poor child is sweating at this news. Go away. I have no use for you. You have your own path to follow. Go. I said go, he shouts. Humph. It's not like I liked you, bro. I just wanted your sword. How about a parting gift? Fine, take these swords. Here, take 'em. He throws a whole bundle of swords from the samurais in front of Dororo, who looks up with something like sadness, maybe a tear falling. Take them and get out of my sight. Bro. Now he surely is crying. You dingleberry, you stupid ass. That's fine by me, I've had enough of you. Yakimaru just coolly and placidly looks away. Later, drop dead jerk. Dororo spins around and stomps away. It looks like he took a sword with him. And he goes off into the forest in the night. And he looks just destroyed. Bags under his eyes and a big frown. Barefoot, walking on that road. The twinkle of a tear. And now maybe he's crying. Crying so much that he has to stop and brace himself on this tree to weep. The sword drops to the ground. And I don't know if we're near Dororo, but in the windy distance, we see a figure approaching. It appears to be a woman with a lot of hair. She walks closer, coming to the weeping Dororo. Her face looks sinister at first, but then she seems to be able to reconfigure it, and now she looks gentle and kind. Oh, you poor thing, what's got you so sad? Here, eat this rice ball. Boys don't cry. Mama! Dororo shouts. Could this really be his mother? Sonny, fate brought us here together, she says to him as he scarfs down the rice ball. Why don't you come to my house? It's straight ahead. Figures, you give me a rice ball and now you're going to work me like a dog. I won't make you work. Come, Sonny. She kind of glides away, her hair still billowing. Hey, don't call me Sonny, that's cheesy. I'll have you know I'm the greatest thief of the land. Of this land. Coming. I'll go. On one condition, he says through gritted teeth. What's that? I call you Mama. Ha ha, funny boy. They go off into the dark woods together. So I guess he knows this is not actually his mother, but he wants to pretend. Now we see Yakimaru staring into the setting sun, alone, and he pulls a sword from its hilt, and we see ripples in a pond. No need to kill me, father. I'll send myself to the netherworld. I'm sure the dead spirits haunting me will be delighted. I was never meant to live anyway. Wow, I guess he's about to axe himself. Maybe he's still grieving the loss of his brother and the realization of who his family is. That's not true, says a voice behind him. Don't do it. It's not your style. Sick. The man slams something down onto his sword. Why don't you try to live? You, the monk with the lute. So we met this monk earlier in the story, and I believe he helped Yakimaru either learn how to use his sword, even though the monk himself is blind, or something else. I can't remember exactly, but he was helpful in a world where so many are not. The wind blows in the east, and it rains in the west. If the fickle wind delivers my scent, shh, what is it? Oh, I guess this is a song that he's singing. It goes very well with the music, which you may be able to hear coming in through the window. The scent of a dead spirit, Yakimaru says. It was just here. Here we go again. The dead surround you on all sides, says the monk. The god of death, the god of poverty. What difference does it make? Listen here. A timid human can't even piss without fear. You can't understand my suffering. No, I can't. You met your birth parents. You killed your little brother in a duel. Now your pop's out to kill you. Ain't that so? But that's no reason for you to lose hope and kill yourself. Maybe death's after. Dororo. Damn. He goes running off. Perhaps he's had a sudden realization that one of the greatest things still in his life is the little thief. Hey, no need to rush. The monk shouts after him, and the monk goes chasing after Yakimaru as he races off into the night. And now we see Dororo jumping into a stream, submerging himself. Yow, ow, ow. And it looks like a little turtle has snapped him on the finger. He slams it down and we see its shell crack on the rock. And looks like he's now roasting it over a little fire. What's your name, Sonny? Says the mysterious woman. I'm Dororo. Dororo. You were with Yakimaru. Not anymore, he says, stuffing his face. We didn't see eye to eye, so I split. So you're all alone. That's right, I've always been a lone wolf, the greatest thief in the world. Why was the greatest thief sobbing? He seems caught in his lie. Shut up, don't mind the details. What's that sound? It sounds like a waterfall. Saw. Shall we go? My house is there. She gets up. Tired. Take my hand. Hell no, I may be small, but I'm my own boss. says, breaking the fourth wall as he hides his face in his hand and presumably is crying at the motherly affection that he certainly must miss. And so we see the two of them continue their journey to her home, and they pass this giant waterfall. They call it the Waterfall of Vanity. It enshrines Fudo Myo-o. And this note says, Fudo Myo-o is a Buddha associated with strength and self-control, usually depicted with fangs and with dark skin of a blush hue. Wow, I was not aware that there was a Buddha that had fangs. That's pretty cool. Wow. And here it is. Dororo seems a little enamored by it, but this mysterious woman has turned again to these mischievous eyes. And so we see the shrine of Fudo Myo-o. I can't really see the fangs there, but he does look more menacing than any Buddha I'm familiar with. Whoosh, whoosh, and water from the waterfall pours down around it. What? Who's that guy? Dororo notices there's a man kneeling under the waterfall, taking a bath maybe. An ascetic, the woman says. In this world of chaos and war, one must train to endure physical extremes. That's why he sits under the pounding waterfall. Why don't you try it, Dororo? No thanks. And it seems they've approached a house. Welcome to the shed of cold ablution. Come on in. Not a very warm-sounding home, but it looks like she has food cooking over a fire. What's the matter? Nothing, Dororo says, but clearly he seems upset. Mama served gruel like this to me using her bare hands. Just memories, that's all. He lies down on some straw and tries to act nonchalant, but that was the scene that we saw earlier, was his mother, after they had lost everything, including his father, and were starving. They made their way to a line of gruel being given out, but because she had no bowl to put it into, she used her own hands to hold the burning liquid and deliver it to Dororo. He chuckles, forces a chuckle, and then falls asleep in the lady's lap. And now her eyes become even more demonic, and her smile to match. She seems to float up into the darkness above Dororo. And he wakes with a question. Mama. Mama. Wrong frame, this says. I don't really understand what that is meant to depict, but maybe he banged his head or something when he got up. Mama. He exits the house of cold ablution and shouts, Mama, as he walks through the tall grass trying to find her. Where'd you go? He shouts into the forest around him. These trees have these strange holes in them. Oh, a creepy cave. Brr, it's freezing, Dororo says as he crawls into the creepy cave. What's this? There appears a hand in the darkness. A hand. It's a frozen human. And another one. Uh-oh. There's no such thing as a faceless person. You were napping, right? You probably just had a dream. It wasn't a dream. See, I'm wide awake. How could you live here and not know about that cave? He shouts as he's shaking and points back to where it came from. I don't. Why don't you show it to me? Okay, don't be shook when we get there. And he takes her back to the cave, or at least where he thought it was. So, where is this cave? Huh? The cave's gone. And there is nothing but rock, where once there was a hole. There really was a cave here, I swear. But it's not here. You had a dream, she says. No, this can't be happening. He runs to the wall of rock and bangs on it. You run home now and take another nap while I go get some work done. She gives him a little push back to the home and then glides off into the forest. And not only does she glide, but now she makes large leaps up this rock face. And as we see in front of her, as she's climbing up the waterfall, her face seems ashen and afraid. Whoosh! The water is spilling down, but she's made it to the top. And I guess this was the man whom Dororo had noticed before. He's laid out and does not look very alive. The lady pulls up his head, and we see that he no longer has a face, if he ever had one. The creepy lady seems to check, as if she were expecting this. The water is spilling around them. She picks up the body and tosses it down into the water below. Splash! The faceless corpse of the man floats to the top of the water and then down the river. The woman watches it and then suddenly glances upwards, where we see the statue of the fanged Buddha, and it appears to not have a face, but then eyes and a mouth, and the nose appear, and it looks like here are the fangs. Somehow this statue is tied to this scary mystery. Master, how do you like your new face? The woman says as she crawls closer to the statue, and it seems very pleased, smiling. It suits you much better than the previous one. Oh, so the statue's face has changed. Perhaps it's taken on the man's face. We see its eye. Are you not pleased? How many faces must you go through before you are satisfied? The woman shouts. Very well. I've lined up the next human. This one's a child. Uh-oh. He just tried to peek into the cave, so I concealed it. After the child rests, I'll have him sit under the waterfall. She goes back down the cliff and strides back to the home, where the poor, unsuspecting Dororo sleeps under a little blanket. Ah, such an innocent face. In a few days it will belong to the Fudo statue. Poor thing. Oh, 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 oh. I don't think she really has any sympathy for him. Little Dororo has got some kind of bug on his face that wakes him up. Ah. Yawn. He stretches and then looks to either side. Looking a little unsure, he gets out from under the blanket and is suddenly throwing things together, perhaps into a upset and picks up the bag of his belongings, or maybe her belongings. Looks like it might be the pot that the gruel was cooking in, and quietly goes out the door. Yikes! You up, Dororo? He's shocked that she's found him. What's that? She asks. It's, those belong to the ascetic. Well, yeah. I didn't take any of your stuff, Mama. Do what you will. Looks like he's crying, as he's been caught. Send me to a juvie or whatever. A juvie. This is really interesting how it kind of breaks. Pretty small time of the world's greatest thief. Shut up. Oh, I don't need these anymore because the ascetic's dead. What? Dororo's surprised at this news. He lost his footing and fell into the bottom of the waterfall. Why don't you gather some firewood? I'll make some broth. Rightio. I guess he was a little disturbed by this news, but the thought of some more food has cheered him up. Somehow he goes racing straight up this wall. Dororo, watch out. I don't know why he had to go all the way up there to get firewood, but she seems genuinely concerned. And it looks as if he might have slipped, because he's clutching the edge of the cliff. Don't scare me like that. Why do I feel this way? Why did I call out to that boy and warn him? She seems genuinely perplexed by her sudden feelings for this child. He's not mine. He's only a sacrifice to Fudo. She seems determined to quash these emotions. I got it, Mama. Dororo comes running back with sticks. Thanks. Have a seat. Broth's almost ready. Put this on so you don't spill it on yourself. I'm not a baby, he shouts as she ties a bib around him. See, you spilled it. Sure enough, it's all over as he scarfs down the broth. Just as I said. Don't lick it, that's dirty. You're a handful. I've got no problems eating on my own, but I'm just not as smooth when I'm with you. Little Dororo. She really looks like a caring mother here in this frame. Why don't you try sitting under the waterfall tomorrow? Well, never mind. No thanks. It'll cleanse your soul and make you strong. No. Do it. Suddenly she's angry and shouts at him. I said no. But of course he knows how to shout back. I'll get a cold, pneumonia, rheumatism, frostbite, heart failure. Well, he's not wrong about that. Why won't you listen to your mama? She seems to be coming after him in sudden anger. But he's jumped up to the rafters. Well, Mama, why are you trying to stick me under a waterfall? You ain't Mama. You look just like Mama, so I called you Mama, but no more. He's coming to his senses. Forgive me, Dororo. I beg of you, come back here. She falls to the ground and looks like she might be sobbing, but I think it's part of a trick. I can't do it. When I look at that face, I can't sacrifice him. Or maybe she really is having a dilemma. I want a face, says a disembodied voice. And in her tears she looks up suddenly. I want a face. I want a face. We see the statue again, its eyes wide and terrifying. Mama. Mama, please let go. Mama. She seems to be in a lot of distress. I won't let you peel off this dear child's face. Suddenly, she's had a change of heart. We see the statue in the background, but she's running away from it. Woman, where are you taking my sacrifice? Whoosh, whoosh. A waterfall crashes around them. I won't let this sweet child become your offering. I'm letting this one go unharmed. How dare you defy my orders, woman? He seems like a really bad master to have. She's run off, still carrying Dororo, and she's again at her little house. Hey, why are you doing this to me? Carrying me up and down? Run, Dororo. Stay here and you'll get killed. She's untied him and taken the bowl off his face. Killed? Sounds like fun. Flog me, cut me, I won't die. I'm immortal, Dororo. That might be true. We really have seen him get tied up and beaten and attacked by countless warriors and samurai. But he always gets away pretty much unharmed. No, Fudo is out to kill you. Isn't Fudo a Buddha? Why would he murder me? That's not the real Fudo. A demon is impersonating him. A demon? Hurry. Aren't you coming, Mama? How sweet of you to still call me Mama. It's time we part ways. Let's run away together. We ate from the same pot. That's such a sweet, innocent sentiment. I can't. She seems to have put her head in her hands. She's crying. Why are you crying, Mama? I can't leave this place, she says, still sobbing. Listen, I'm not a living human being. What? That is a shocking thing for someone to say, who appears very much to be living. And suddenly, it seems the water of the waterfall begins crashing down right upon the house where they stand. Hey, what's with the sudden downpour? Swash! It looks like the water has been sent out from the waterfall to go directly to our house. It's water from the waterfall. Whoosh! And it's crashing down on the roof. We can't leave the shed in this flood. That Fudo has no face, which is why he steals people's faces to make them his own. When ascetics pass out under the waterfall, Fudo takes their faces. Now I get why those corpses in the cave were faceless. Dororo puts it all together, remembering the scary image he saw there. Theirs were taken, but Fudo always wants a new face. He gets mad when he can't have one. Fudo is screaming. That's the sound of water. He says he'll turn me back into a lifeless spirit. You damn Fudo wannabe. You should take a clown's face and dance a jig. Dororo is taunting the giant demon, shaking the bars on the window. Boosh! And water crashes through and knocks him back. Ah! The woman screams as the water floods the house. Ah! Mama, this is nothing. face is changing. Yes, my face changes into any form. In order for me to lure people into this valley, Fudo had me take on the face that the people wish to see, like their parents. Dororo is very troubled by this. I was nothing but a soulless puppet. But you breathed a human spirit into me, she says to him as she clasps his little hand. Farewell, little Dororo. It was short but sweet. Promise me you'll live. Goodbye. We see her hand withering away in the water, and then her body, and then nothing is left but her long hair, which Dororo grasps close to him as tears come down his face. And now we see outside the shed, the water from the waterfall is destroying the entire structure, and soon it's nothing but shambles. It collapsed as easy as a monster movie set. Run, he says to no one, I guess, but himself, but he charges away. No way I'm staying here. And it looks like a hand. It comes out of the water to try and catch him as he flees. Roar. The water crashes all around. Dun, dun, dun. Shoot the valley water. And wherever he's managed to get to, he's now completely surrounded by a raging river. Damn, I can't cross. Hey, hey, hey. You play dirty, phony Fudo. I'll show you. Take this. Little Dororo tosses a tiny rock at the statue of the false Buddha, but it bounces right off. The statue demon seems to be laughing at this tiny attempt to take him on. And now, perhaps his hand is moving, but whatever he is grasping becomes a bunch of snakes that slither out of his hand and drop into the water below. And all of these snakes look very intent on attacking. Give me your face, kid. They're slithering towards little Dororo's feet. Gulp. He squeals in terror as they crawl out of the water. Hundreds of vipers, he shouts. Yikes. He's climbing up the rock face as all the snakes come after him. Sweating, terrified, we see the face again, laughing an evil grin. Eek. There's a demon nearby, old man. Suddenly we see Yakimaru and the monk. Perhaps they're not too far away. Dororo. Dororo, it's me. Hang in there. Bro. Wow, just in time. What's with those vipers? Did you step on their eggs? I'm coming. I don't need you, bro. We're through. I won't take help from a stranger. But Yakimaru ignores this and dives into the water. Idiot, I don't want to save you either. Swims toward him, but some bewitchment on your back calls to me. And he swims through the rushing river and somehow gets onto some dry land again, and then bounds towards the snakes, who suddenly look cartoonishly surprised and in danger. Yakimaru draws his sword and cuts through all the snakes, chopping them in half. Fancy running into you here, demon. By the way, your face is ugly as hell. Yakimaru's excited to find another adversary. We'll see if you take my face first, or if I take your head. You're my 19th demon. Bro, look out! Above you, the waterfall. Dororo shouts as the waterfall comes crashing down. I guess it had stopped for a second. Ah! Whoosh! It looks like it's hit Yakimaru and knocked him off where he was standing. Wow! Some of the water also is hitting Dororo. But he's found a grip. And he has his sword in his teeth. Climbs up the side of the wall. Damn. He mixed iron sand in the water to blind me. Wow, crazy. You fight dirty. The demon's face almost totally melted. Suddenly the hand, which was holding a sword, raises up and then moves down to chop Yakimaru. Look out, bro! Dororo throws another rock, clang, and hits the sword perfectly. Just in time, I guess, to throw it off just enough so that it misses Yakimaru. And he jumps up and chops the demon's head off with a single slash. And with a roar, the statue head goes falling down with the water down the cliff face, knocks itself into a few of the boulders, and then smashes into a bunch of pieces when it hits the ground. The statue's still making noise. We did it! Yakimaru says, I guess. Or Dororo, maybe. The statue seems to be melting even further now. It's mold. Mold on the rock took the shape of Fudo. Wow, it was a mold demon this whole time. It's crazy. Ordinary mold grew and encapsulated the rock. Then a spirit possessed the mold and turned into that evil Fudo. Wah, ha, mold. It's always like that. Whoa, my ear. And another of his prosthetic appendages falls from his face. My ear. And in what seems to be a very painful process. Ow, 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 he says, clutching his head. An ear. I've got a real ear. His ear has grown back in. And we see this very rare smile and look of elation on Yakimaru. And now we see the three of them, the monk, Dororo, and Yakimaru, standing beside the waterfall that now seems much more peaceful than it did before, and the cliffs surrounding it much brighter. Let's go, Dororo. Hurry up. You go, bro. I've got my own path, he says, leaning against the rocks. There's only one road here. There's no other way. Heh. Don't talk to me as if you know me. You're a stranger. Leave me be. I take orders from no one. I'm going over the mountain from this side. Dororo, you'll run into trouble again if you go it alone. As if you care. Go, get out of here. I mean, Yakimaru does deserve this. Alright then. I'll show you. It looks like he's going around. He's in the shadow. But he peeks out to see if perhaps Yakimaru was going to follow him still. But I don't think he's there anymore. Bro, I don't. He runs in the direction where Yakimaru had gone. Bro, Were you hiding? You sneaky jerk. I thought you'd left. Where I go, or don't go, is none your concern. So why do you come? You don't like me, right? You need to make up your mind. Oh, I thought that was Dororo, but that was Yakimaru. And Dororo says, yeah, that's right, I don't like you, I hate you. He's shouting, but then suddenly looks very sweet. But I'm still drawn to your sword. Ah, yes. Take it, it's yours. No, I want the one in your arm, he says with a big cheesy grin. Picky brat, this one won't likely come off for a while. Then I won't part ways with you for a while. Hey, hey, hey. Suit yourself. And they go marching off, following the monk, together again on the path. In this sort of tense agreement to stay together, not because they like each other, but because they each want something from the other. And now we see a flock of geese flying in the sky. And this beautiful vista in front of a mountain, surrounded by clouds and pine trees. And the three of them approaching it. But Yakimaru is sitting with his eyes closed, perhaps taking a little break. Are you trying to get one? The monk says to Dororo. Shh, be quiet. He readies a rock to throw at one of the birds, pulls his hand back, and tosses it. Yeah! Squawk! It appears he hit one of the birds as the rest fly off. That's some arm on you, says the monk. Where'd you learn to hunt like that? Don't know where. You see, you lose out when you're small like me. Besides, doesn't matter with that trick. Impressive. You're as impressive as Yakimaru. You're like brothers. Brothers? We aren't brothers. Besides, he's filthy. Oh, that's Yakimaru again. Because, of course, that was what he noticed as soon as he got his nose. But, of course, Dororo is always calling him bro. So maybe Dororo does see him as a brother. Dororo, he shouts. Dororo, I'll make you take a bath. Come here. What? No bath. No way. You called me filthy, so you don't like being filthy either, right? Come, I'll see to it you'll get washed today. He grabs Dororo. No, stop it. I don't want to get naked. I'll bite and scratch you, bastard. Ouch, stop it, you monkey. He's grabbed Dororo and thrown him into the water. No! And it appears to be ripping his clothes away. Dororo, you... He seems suddenly very shocked. And Dororo is covering himself. Dororo, that drawing on your back, who drew it and why? Dororo is silent. There appears to be something drawn on his back, which Yakimaru seemed to have made reference to when he just rescued him. But now he seems so surprised. Let me see it more closely. He's studying the drawing. Who drew this? Mama, he says quietly. Tell me why or I'll... No, I won't tell you. This one, bro. I think he's crying as he dashes off. If you don't, I'll read your thoughts. He's silent. But then... Not this. I won't tell a soul. Not even a cat. I promise, Mama, I won't break my vow. Waves of the samurai. But I knew that already. Papa had told me too. Good. And we hid the money we took. Only he and I knew where. I think I should tell you where it is for when I die. No, I don't want to hear it. Of course, he doesn't want to think about his mother dying. If you tell me, you might let go and die. Gasp. That's not true. I won't hear it, Mama. You be the keeper of that secret. Dororo is sad and closes his eyes as he clutches her, and she also looks very sad. Tears coming down, and the sign says Manju Hall. Bodhisattva Manju, please hear my prayer. Show me how to reveal the money's location to this child. And in the falling snow, she seems to have a realization. With this sword, she finds a sword buried in the snow. And she picks it up and cuts her finger with it, it looks like. There's a note here that says the Bodhisattva Manju, or Manjusri, is associated with wisdom. So she found herself praying to the god of wisdom to figure out her next move. And so here we see her approaching her sleeping little son with the sword. She draws back the blanket and then his shirt and presses her finger to his back, the finger that it looks like she cut with the sword, and works. Achoo! Huh? Dororo wakes up and sees his mother. Mama, you wrote something on my back, didn't you? No. Liar. I just had a dream where a monk showed up and said he'd draw a map of the money's location on my back. When I woke up, you were drawing it. A monk. It must have been the Bodhisattva. He said to never show my back to anyone, only to those I could wholeheartedly trust. Papa, rest in peace. Your wish has been passed on to this child's body. I didn't know you had such a secret. Now we're back with Yakimaru and Dororo. Dororo, don't look so bitter. I swore to myself I wouldn't show it to anyone. No wonder you seldom bathed. Hey, it's gone. Strange, he says. Well, I guess it was written in blood. I get it. When you get excited and your blood's pumping, it shows up on your back almost like a rash. Oh, okay. Relax, Dororo. You think I'd try to take that money? I'm not interested. I can't buy my body parts with money. No, that's not true. Old man, were you listening? I guess this was the monk. Yakimaru, didn't you once say you wanted to find happiness? I think your path is clear now. You should find that money. That will be your happiness. Mind your own business. Why would finding this money be my happiness? Yakimaru, happiness is having a reason for living. You vanquish demons to get back your arms, legs, and eyes, and someday you'll be a normal human being. Then what? He asks, pointing his stick at Yakimaru. What will your goal be? Shut up. I'll figure it out when the time comes. He does not want his advice. No, you'll be at a loss, with nothing else to live for. You will never be happy. Then what am I supposed to do? Totoro's money is going to be used to help the poor rise up, yes. Finding it will mean you served your purpose as a real man. That's a reason to live, you see. And what about the demons? They'll still pop up while you look for the money. But this time, you'll have your own clear goal as you defeat them. I guess it's time for me to move on. The monk starts to walk away. Wait. You talk good talk, but you're also after the money, aren't you? Me? You've got to be kidding. How can I see a map? The monk looks back at him quizzically, with blind eyes. Let's meet again sometime. And the monk continues to walk away into the wind, singing again. The wind blows in the east, and it rains in the west. Who are you, old man? Yakimaru shouts to him. But you're right. Put your clothes on, Dororo. Let's head out. Which way? Whichever way you go. But you always lead the way. The world's an interesting place, and sometimes up is down. And so, Yakimaru has not only decided to heed the advice of the monk, but to let Dororo be the leader of their little pair as they venture forth to now pursue the new goal of finding this money that Dororo's parents fought for and then hid to, as they say, let the poor rise up. And what an admirable goal, I think that would be. Because all of these samurai and the lords above them don't seem to be doing any favors for the people of this land. And I think these two, as angry as they always are at each other and at the world around them, they seem to have somewhere inside themselves a care for others. We will stop here and leave the rest for another evening. But if you are still awake, still here with me, I just want to know that I want you to know that I appreciate you being here with me. And I hope that this was a moment of peace for you. And I wish you many more as you go about your path, pursuing